Oh yeah, Buru, sweet.
That's right. That's what he gets.
That is perfect. And the jackass missed his guarantee last week too.
Yeah, again.
Shithead. Dragging the show down.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
We
terrible.
should we should play it like we're considering removing him from the show. That's why he's not here because he's been what do you call it? He's been
Suspended?
suspended. Yeah, let's play it like that. That he for picking so many bad guarantees that we've management has suspended him for a show.
Okay.
Because I did call his phone and he didn't answer, so I'm gonna try one more time and that's it for him.
All right. He always thinks it's bill collectors.
Yeah. That's,
Oh well, so you don't want me to call in then, right?
no, just stay on the line. We'll just do it like this.
All right. My phone might break up though. I don't have good reception.
That's a surprise. uh, Hi now. Hello, welcome to Week 12 NFL Big Pick 4, the show where the NFL handicapping experts, Big Danny D and Big Buru B, will give you the best 4 picks for Sunday's NFL games to include the guarantee picks, the Big D guarantee and Big B guarantee, which we've renamed as the Buru because he is a losing record. He's dragging down the show. He was banned from a live appearance tonight.
Yeah.
So only a plunger with the Buru bag on top of it is allowed to be live on the show. We've allowed the Buru to call in on the mobile as a punishment from a management for week 12. If he misses his guaranteed pick again, we'll have to go back to management for further consideration of penalties up to and including changing or banning him from the show for the rest of the season.
That's pretty harsh.
Well, I agree, but this isn't Matt Millen running the show here.
That's right.
Our management has standards.
Yeah, we have high standards.
We have a tough management team here. So as you can see, week 11, we were 3 out of 4, not including the Big Boo guarantee. What happened to the Colts? I mean, I have to say, I thought the Colts would stay in that game. I thought the Jets would stay in the game. What's happening here?
I don't know.
They got their ass kicked. Their 2 AFC East opponents that they played on the road, the Jets and New England, both blew them out completely.
I heard a comment last night that the Pats tend to peak around Thanksgiving, historically, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they were excellent yesterday.
Without Gronkowski, right?
Yeah, they still put up 49 points.
They just have plug and play tight ends.
Yeah, well, it's all about the quarterback. Brady's so good, he can get the ball to everybody.
Well, they almost set a record last night for the most points scored in one quarter. All they needed was one more touchdown, and there was a chance they could get it.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing yesterday. And they make plays, too. I mean, people could say it's luck, but they make plays. They get to the ball, and they put it in the end zone. They're a good team. They're well coached. They have good players. They have good special teams. And, the Colts were awful in that game. So
guarantee on the Bucks, that was not even close, right?
Oh, no, that game went into overtime, but they went on a touchdown.
Oh, that's right.
But they covered the spread. It's all that matters. The Bucks have been hot,
Yep.
Panthers stink, and I, got a little lucky on that one, but they covered.
Oh, that was like a last-minute touchdown too to get into overtime, was it not?
Yeah, it was last minute touchdown on the last drive. They got a penalty, I think, on Carolina to move the ball down, and then they scored the tying touchdown, and they scored the winning touchdown, but they covered. So I'm now 9-2 this season on my.
And the Packers a slim cover, 1-point cover, and then a blowout from the Saints.
Yeah, the Raiders have been awful, so I think that was a good pick, that Saints pick. And we got lucky with the Packers because they kicked a late field goal in that game to make it 24-20 to put that game away and cover the spread.
Who dat? Drew Brees!
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So then the overall we're at a winning record, 23-20. Big D is a big money maker. I mean, you make a hell of a good killing in Vegas with 9 wins and 2 losses, even covering the VIGs.
Yeah. 3-7-1 is not going to get you very far.
No, because I gotta say, even if you're 51%, what people don't realize in Vegas, even if you're 51%, you will not win money. Because you got to realize, they say, well, there's no VIG, right, on a Vegas line. But yes, there is, because it's never a pick 'em, which would be a plus 100, plus 100. The closest you're going to get is a minus 110, minus 110. Well, guess what? Your spills, even on a pick 'em, which would be a minus 110, minus 110, you're still paying $110 to win 100. So if you're only 51%, I'm sorry, you're not going to make any money.
No.
You're going to get sucked in that minus 110, minus 107, whatever it is. It's not even money.
Yeah. So that's why it's good to be 9-2.
Yeah. So, but if 9-2, hell yeah, you're doing you're betting spreads. Hell yeah, you're in the
And
green.
if you're
No doubt.
If you're 3-7-1, you're probably either have broken legs or in the desert.
You're in a shallow grave in the Nevada desert.
Yeah, right.
2 broken legs. No, you're hanging from an overpass in Tijuana somewhere.
Oh, that's rough. They send you to Jerry Sandusky's jail cell.
So there you have it. Moving on to week 12 with a winning record. Now, if we can do another 3-1, 4-0 week, we're going to put the whole show in that above that zone of, hey, you're barely breaking even, trying to cover the minus 110s out there.
That'd be good.
But as always, we start with the Vaggie of the week from Big Danny D. Let's have
Well,
it.
the original plan was to call out the Eagles for not having any heart. They were going to be the Vag of the week. Because if you look at other bad teams like Cleveland and the Panthers, they play with heart, even though they stink. They try, they play hard, and they play competitive games. But instead, it's going to be Mr. Brian O'Hearn as the Vag of the week for not coming over here to do the show this
Thank
week.
you.
You're welcome. I'm taking a short trip on a train, going to another train, and then walking 2 blocks to get here. He couldn't make it today. Just like last year, and he had that rain out. Today,
right.
just didn't feel like walking. The exercise might be beneficial, however. But that aside, the big Buru is the Vag of the week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it actually worked out well because had he showed up, you would have just gotten word from management that he was actually banned from his live appearance today.
Sure, that's right. Yeah, that would have been a big
You
problem.
would have to turn around.
Yeah, we've had to call in security. It would have been awful. Yeah.
So there you have it. And who was the honorary Vag of the week?
The Philadelphia Eagles for playing with no heart. They played with nothing. They just played a dead game last week. As I was saying, the other bad teams, like you have Jacksonville and Cleveland and Carolina, they play hard. They may not win, but at least they try. Cleveland has played so many close games this season. They possibly could have won. They had a little better talent on that team. They tried. The Eagles didn't try. They just got thoroughly destroyed. And they really didn't care about, middle of the third quarter, they kind of just threw in the towel. It's not the way you play if you're a professional. You play like a professional, not like it's high school and you just come back next year. You screw the prom date and everything's great. It just, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, let's rewind on that because that could have been your 4-0. I implored you to pick
Oh, get
the
out of
Redskins,
here.
did I not? I implored you. I said they're going to destroy the Eagles.
You and your proclamations about don't bet again. Redskins have screwed you 2 times, blah, blah, blah. Give me a break.
No, I know the Redskins. So if I
Yeah, Captain Redskins.
if I give them the golden ring for that week, to jump on that train.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm sorry. What I meant to say, if I kiss the ring, if I kiss the ring that week, to jump on that. I know the Redskins. I knew they were going to blow out the Eagles.
Well,
And I didn't even say they would win and cover. I said they are going to blow them out. They're going to destroy them. This is the one exception to the Redskins rule. Play it now. And you didn't play the card.
yeah, well, if the Buru had been better, it wouldn't have mattered that much.
Was there another pick that the Brewer had in his back pocket that he was on the fence about?
I don't think so.
Other than the
No, he wanted that pick. He thought Indianapolis was going to keep it close.
Yeah, I wasn't on the fence.
wow, and we haven't seen our love train Houston Texans on the picks.
Well, they played on Thursday, so we couldn't pick them, and then you won't let us pick the Monday games for some reason. But yeah, that would have been a push if we picked them this week. They were favored by 3, they won by 3, so that wouldn't have worked out too well. So lucky for us, we avoided that one.
Who did they play again?
They played at Detroit, where the Ndamukong Suh decided to kick somebody in the balls again.
No, that penalty wasn't called.
No, it wasn't. But him and the coach, Jim Schwartz, are both going to be candidates for Badger of the Week next week. Those 2 guys, after what he did, they're throwing that flag.
Yeah, but actually,
and they want to change that rule now.
You actually lost that bet because had the Lions coach not thrown the red flag, they would have lost a touchdown potentially.
Well, yeah, and they want to change that rule so you can still review it anyway. But I completely disagree with that. If a coach is stupid enough not to know the rules and they throw the flag out, they should be penalized to the harshest extent of the rule. You shouldn't give a guy a pass for being an idiot.
Exactly. I mean, you're the head coach. You know that the play's going to be reviewed.
Yeah.
So you don't throw the red flag to throw it in the ref's face like, oh, you better review this.
And the Texans rather have the touchdown than a 15-yard penalty. What do they care about that? So that's ridiculous. So I hope the league doesn't change it. If you're stupid enough to do that, then you deserve the penalty.
And guess what? The Lions had not won in 9 Thanksgiving Day games.
Yeah. Well, some of the teams are awful.
Now make it 10.
Yeah, that sucks.
It used to be that Barry Sanders would show up on Thanksgiving, but they don't have that option
One
anymore.
good thing was yesterday during the NBC game, they did bring out the turducken again. I thought that was good.
Oh, there was a cameo from John Madden, right?
Yeah, and they gave out the turducken to the Patriots after the game, so they're all eating those 6 turkey legs out in the field.
That's better than that stupid Phil Simms award. They're trying to make it like it means something. Who gives a shit? The Iron Man bullshit.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, and then they were eating the turkey around one of Brian's favorite things, the woman sideline reporter. She brought out the turkey.
Well,
I think she was useful there for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you don't want a man doing women's work.
Yeah, where's Pat O'Brien when you need him?
Good point, Scott.
Touche. So moving on to the first combined pick for Week 12. Let's have it, Big Danny D.
All right. I don't know. I forget which order we did this in, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The first combined pick is San Francisco at New Orleans. New Orleans is +1 at home. We're taking New Orleans in this game because they are the home team. This is Colin Kaepernick's first road game as an NFL quarterback. He started last week, was excellent against the Bears. But now he's going the road, inside a dome. There's going to be a lot of noise, a lot of stuff going on. The Saints have been on a roll lately. Their defense, while they were horrific the first 8 games, have been much better lately, especially playing against mediocre offenses. The 49ers really aren't world beaters here. So I think the Saints can cover this spread fairly easily. That's just +1. Really, all they have to do is really win. It's not much they have to do. Drew Brees has been great lately. They've been running the ball much more effectively. Seems like the whole team really kind of settled once Joe Vitt got there. He was able to assume the head coaching responsibilities, and everyone else fell into place. The offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and all that stuff. And everyone felt much more comfortable. And because of that, they've been playing great. They've won, I think, 5 in a row to get to 5-5, I believe, or 5-6, something like that. So for that reason, we're taking the Saints over the 49ers at home, +1.
Who that? Drew Brees!
Oh, yeah.
So there's your first combined pick. Moving on to the second combined pick from Buru on the mobile hotline.
For our second combined pick, we have the Chargers at +1. Oh, I forgot who they're playing.
-1. It's Baltimore
-1, I
at
forgot.
San Diego. San Diego is -1.
All right. Really no comments there. I think Dan, I think he said it best that Baltimore doesn't play well on the road. And it's, what is it, -1 you said?
Yeah, -1 for San
Yeah,
Diego.
-1. It's a low spread. Baltimore doesn't play well on the road. The Chargers are desperate for a win. Basically, for all those reasons, take the Chargers.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's numbers. They showed him last week during the broadcast of the game. There's a stark contrast between his road numbers and his home numbers. His road completion percentage is around 50%. He throws more interceptions than touchdowns. He's really not very good on the road at all. They have to go all the way across the country. As Brian said, San Diego is desperate for a win here. They need to save Moon Man's job. Otherwise, they're in big trouble. So, and it's a low spread.
I know, but I'm doing this right now, so don't yell, okay? All right, so there you have it. Your Week 12 combined picks are in the books with your Saints and your Chargers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as always, a word from your Big Pick 4 Week 12 sponsor.
Hij presenteert iMode. E-mailen, foto's bekijken. Het kan nu echt. So high.
All right, well, we're back for the second half of Big Pick 4, where the big guru, Brian B., has been banned for the second half of the show because we are in the guaranteed segment, and his guarantees are big losers. So we will cover our winning sport NFL handicapping expert, Big Danny D, and then we will mention the Big B guarantee, followed by a moment of silence. Of dead air, I should say. We're not honoring the pick. We're just following it with dead air.
Yeah, it's better than
Oh,
any
look, so
commentary.
he's calling in now. He's calling in now.
Forget it.
Wait, let me see if... Oh, he's calling me. I have to decline it. Oh, I have to see if are we still recording? Yeah. All right. We might let him come in at the end of the show. Let's have the big Danny D guarantee.
All right, my Big D guarantee, which everyone knows is 9-2. I am taking Indianapolis -3 at home against Buffalo. Buffalo, I know, played 11 days ago or 10 days ago, whatever it is, on a Thursday and beat Miami barely, even though both teams really didn't play very well. Indianapolis got blown out last week, I understand. But the Bills are not the Patriots by a long shot. They gave 52 points of their own to the Patriots earlier this season. Andrew Luck will play better. He's a better player than Patrick Fitzpatrick, whatever the hell his name is, for the Bills. Indianapolis plays very well at home. I believe they only lost one time at home so far this season, if that. They've been very good there. Yes, they only lost once. That's right, to Jacksonville somehow. They miracled a win there. I think Luck will have his way. The Buffalo defense stinks. They have no pass rush. Their secondary isn't very good. They got flagged several times against Miami for pass interference, and the wide receiver group in Indianapolis is much better than the one for the Dolphins. So for that reason, I am taking Indianapolis because I feel like because they have the home field advantage, they're in that dome, and because the Bills really don't play very well, that you should be able to easily cover that spread of 3 points in this game.
So now let's have a mention of the big B guarantee, followed by a short segment of dead air.
Well, the big B guarantee, if you want to call it that, which is only gotten 3 out of 8 correct so far this season. He decided to take Green Bay +3 at the Giants on Sunday night.
So there you have your big B guarantee from the Buru. And we actually do have an official Big Pick 4 man violation for Week 12, which is carrying a man purse, which is an oxymoron. Man and purse should not be said together.
True. They call it a satchel, but it's really a man purse.
There's a reason that's also known as a fag bag, okay?
But the honorary man violation, again, is Brian for getting his picks wrong all the time, for not appearing on the show tonight.
That is an honorary man violation. And but you wanted to say Big Pick 4, right?
Me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what you need to do is...
Wait, no, not yet, not ready.
Oh, wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you want to do is... Wait up.
Okay, I'll tell you when. Ladies and gentlemen, what you need to do is get a Santa suit and
Agreed.
some type of improvised red kettle.
Agreed.
And a bell, and stand out in front of any local establishment and collect money.
I like your hat, Brian.
And ring the bell, dress as Santa, and they put it.
Nice
you can get one of those witches, like Halloween thing.
Hurry the up!
Paint it red or fine, and take those coins, go out.
Hurry up.
Place your bets, and take your winnings, and...
Even the Jew is getting tired of waiting.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Happy Hanukkah. Go with Big Pick 4! Me.
Thank you.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thanks.
Does Dan celebrate Christmas? I said, no, I think he celebrates Hanukkah.
Yeah.
So now you have your recap, which Big Danny D can see and Brian can't. You've got basically 2 pick'em games and 2 slim covers. Everyone's home except the Packers, which the road game should not be a problem for them. Any other comments from the gurus?
I only have one comment. Me and Dan had a tough week this week because usually when we meet, we already have like 3 or 4 picks in common. I think this is the first week that me and Dan didn't have any picks in common, and we kind of had to hash them out. I would like to say that Dan talked me into most of the picks, so we're going to ride this week, and if we're successful, then he should get all the credit. but if we fail, he should get all of the blame.
I don't think
So,
that's going to happen.
I'm just saying, like, because, normally we already agree on it. The picks are already ready. I'm just saying this week was unusual because we didn't have anything in common, and we kind of went with all your picks. You talked me into all your picks. So all I'm saying is if we win this week, you should get most of the credit. But if we don't do well, you should get most of the blame. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think Scott's going to blame you anyway.
What?
I think Scott's going to blame you anyway.
Well, the Packers, the Big B, obviously, that Dan had nothing to do with that one. That one was all me. So, but I'm just saying, the two combined picks, we usually agree right away. The B's, we had nothing in common this week of our
tough.
original picks.
Because there's so many weird games.
What?
There are a bunch of weird games, like Chicago, Minnesota's no spread. Pittsburgh, Cleveland is a +1, and Pittsburgh is in shambles. I mean, there's some tough games.
But I'm just saying, you would have to agree that this is the 12th week, right?
Yeah, it's week 12.
Right, and every other week we had at least 2 or 3 in common right away, right? This is the first time we didn't have any. So I'm saying that this could be a tough week. We might not do as well. I'm a little scared. I'm a little more nervous this week than I usually am, and I think I went more with Dan's picks than my own. He talked me into them, but
so you might win
that
them.
was my only. No, hey, listen, Dan. If you're a man of your word and you're going to stick by it, then you got to be out there on the ledge. And if you win, you should take all the credit. But I'm saying if you lose, you should. If you lose, you should take most of the blame. That's all.
I understand, but I said your brother's probably going to blame you anyway.
No, my brother. My brother's not that stupid.
So give us one alternate pick. Like last week, I offered up the Redskins as a blowout, which it was.
Okay,
So
I'll give you an
Babe Ruth Jr. is point to the fence for the little Johnny in the hospital bed, and tell us, give us the home run here. What are we missing?
All right, I'll give you. Well, do Monday nights count? Can I do a Monday nighter?
No, I mean, because Dan had to pick Sunday.
Yeah, but I agree with Brian on this one. The Monday night game, it would be a home run.
We should do it as a bonus, so we should give Carolina.
You did that as a bonus one week with Houston when you tried to pick Monday night, and you know what? I think that was like a push or a slight loss. I mean, it wasn't. That was nothing.
All right, well, you want here, you did ask if I was on the fence last week. I was on the fence this week about one. Dan talked me out of Oakland. Oakland is +9.5 at Cincinnati. Dan says Oakland's horrible. But my only point to Dan was I don't trust Cincinnati with a big cover. They've never, I don't think in the history of us doing this show, Cincinnati's ever covered a 9.5 spread. And I also think that Carson Palmer would come home to Cincinnati and play hard, extra hard, because that's the team that let him go.
But he doesn't play
so
defense.
I did. Well, I know you made your points, Dan. You already won. I mean, I picked Green Bay. You talked me out of it. All I'm telling Scott said that I have one to bring up now, and that's the one I'm bringing up. I was on the fence about it.
We discussed it earlier while you were banned from the show, and he agreed it would have been an awful pick.
No, I'm with Dan on that. I don't see Cincinnati's going to be so happy to get a win. They're not going to try to go for a Patriots-style blowout. Ain't going to happen.
They blew out Kansas City last week.
Well, no, Scott. That's in my favor. Then you're agreeing with me because I'm saying that Oakland will cover the spread. It's 9.5. I don't think Cincinnati's going to win by 10. That was my point. You just agreed with me, Scott.
Oh, never mind. No, I agree with Brian. I don't think Cincinnati's going to blow out Oakland. No,
I think they will.
Yeah,
they blew out the Giants.
Yeah, that's what Dan thinks they will.
They have had 2 straight blowout wins against the Giants and against Kansas City, both by over 20 points.
Right. But the spreads weren't that high. I agree, Dan. But
the spread was 6.5 last week on the road against Kansas City, which is really 9.5 if you count the 3 points Kansas City's supposed to get, and they won by 22.
All right, but I have never seen a Cincinnati spread this high, and I just don't trust them. Anyway,
because Oakland is so bad. That's why.
Well,
that's why the spread's so high.
Right, you arguing with me. I'm just telling you Scott asked for one, and I'm giving you guys one. I was on the fence. Dan talked me out of it, and I'm just saying, if next week Oakland should cover, then I'm letting you guys know that I was thinking about that one.
Yes, and now
So I think I'm siding with Brian on that one.
Our
And
audience knows why the Big O is 6-5 and the Big B is 3-7-1.
we'll see, right? But you know what was the team last week that you said, oh, look out,
I would have
the
taken
covers are going to start going up?
I actually would have taken Tampa against Atlanta because Tampa I thought was going to go up at some point, and they're at home +1 at Atlanta. And I thought that was a good pick to pick Tampa Bay because Atlanta hasn't really played very well, and Tampa has been on a roll.
Right.
But what was the team last week that Brian said, jump on them this week because next week the covers are going to start going up?
I think it was
Tampa, right?
Yeah, but it hasn't. The coverage has stayed low for Tampa.
Well, that's because Atlanta is good, though. That's all.
Yeah, but they haven't played very well at all. They've had the weakest schedule the first 10 games of the season of any team in the league. Tampa's just been rolling. Martin has been great, and Atlanta's run defense is awful. And Atlanta can't run the ball themselves. They've been throwing way too much, and leaving their defense on the field most of the game. I just think Tampa's in a better position.
Yeah, but I think the point of the show, Dan, let's get back to the point of the show here. Fuck you. If we were doing all 16 games, I would agree with you that you should take Tampa Bay. But we picked the 4 that we're most confident with, and I didn't feel confident with that Tampa Bay pick. I'm not saying that you could be right. I'm just saying that our job is to pick the 4 that we're most confident with.
I just felt confident in that game because it was a +1 and Tampa's at home. Whereas Green Bay, you pick that game as your guarantee, and Green Bay is +3. They're going to be without Matthews. He's not playing. Greg Jennings is questionable.
Right. But Dan, when I picked
coming up from a bye.
Yeah, I understand that. But when I picked him, Clay Matthews was going to play. We talked about that. I didn't want to change my pick. Right. Listen, I found out that he was out, but I'm not going to change my pick. I'm already, I've already committed to the Green Bay pick.
Yeah.
And I was going to do the Oakland pick, but you talked me out of doing the Oakland pick.
Yeah. I just felt there was a lot to choose from because of the low spreads. The problem is both kind of toss-ups because either team could theoretically win the game.
Yeah, listen, all I'm saying is this was an unusual week. This was a tough week because we usually, when we meet each other at work, we always have picks in common, and it's easy for us. This week was tough because we had Right. This time took us like 15 minutes because we didn't have anything in common.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that you swayed me this week more. And we'll see how next week goes. That's all.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's how it goes every week.
And Brian, if you see Dawn at the grog tonight, ask her why she's not returning my calls and my emails. I sent her flowers. I've been calling and emailing vigilantly, and
that's because she's in a you didn't hear Scott. She's in a nursing home now.
That Social Security finally kicked in.
Oh, that explains it.
Oh man.
Well, all right. There you have it. We will piece the show together. I am predicting a 4. Well, let me make sure of that. I'm predicting a 4-0 week here. Pointing to the fence. I'm gonna kick it through the uprights.
What's the Big O?
Saints. The Big O is the Saints.
All right. Well, all right. I like that.
The 49ers with the rookie quarterback. And come on, the Saints are rolling.
All right. What are you? You're 6-5.
Yeah, I'm 6-5, so I'll be 7-5.
All right. What you guys do? Did you guys do a man violation this week?
Well, the Big Pick 4 show had an official man violation, actually.
Well, it had an official man violation.
It was a man purse. That was a violation.
Oh, we already used that. We already did that
Don't
one.
say that. I know, we're retreading a couple things.
Yeah, and you were the honorary violation as well.
Yeah, you were the honorary man violation.
All right. I'll be back next week, though, all right? My suspension's over.
Yeah, your suspension's over if the big B guarantee comes through.
All right. All right, sounds good, guys.
All right.
All right, later, fellas.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'll let you guys go, man. I'll see you guys. I'll see Dan Monday, and I'll see you next week, brother.
All right, get
Later.
back to Debbie
All
Does
right, love you,
Dallas.
bro. Later, man.
All right, later.
All right.